What up? How's everybody doing today? We are going live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Uh, what I want to talk about today is, and what's labeled here is you're doing it all wrong. How are we setting up goals for 2024? And you're like, Juan, it is the 18th of January. Why are we talking about goals and goal setting? Probably because you've fallen off already. Or almost fallen off. They say that the average length of a New Year's resolution is 28 days. So before we even get to February, you are done. So what I wanted to do is talk to you and talk to two different groups of people at the same time. Those people who haven't set goals yet and want to, they just wanted to get through the new year and get back into routine because they're off on vacation, things like that. The other group of people that I want to talk to is those of you who set goals and you fell off. And you're like, bro, every single year, every single time this happens. Cool. Let's get back to the drawing board. That's okay. If you haven't heard the last episode of the Relevant Development podcast, I went over, I think it was like the 3 or 4 things, I forget what it was. 3 or 4 things that, and I can look it up right now, that you, decisions that you need to make. And it goes over a couple of things. If you haven't heard that, please go back and listen to that podcast episode because it's a good one, and it's one that will lead you into this one. 3 decisions that you need to make. That's what it was. 3 decisions that you need to be making in 2024. I go over decisions leading to directions. Who do you want to become? What do you need to add or subtract from your life? And what does your schedule look like after you making those changes? Okay, so we make a decision. I want to make this without giving you a ton of examples because I do that a lot. My apologies. Is I want to stick with one, and we're going to do it real time. So you're going to have to, if you're working with me on this, going to have to do stuff yourself. So implement your own strength. Excuse me. Your own goals into this. I'm going to do one of mine, and we're going to work through this. And this might be small or short, and that's okay. As far as Juan, that's an easy one. That's okay. I want this to be easy. So let's get into things. So one of the things that I talk about when you create a goal is it a goal or is it the result of a goal? So let's go through this. I want to read more. Okay, so I write down my goal. I want to read more. I want to read more. Now, is that a goal, or is that the result of a goal? That's the result of a goal. I will read more if I pick up my book so many times a day. Let's be a little bit more specific because I know people are like, "Oh, you smart goals," right? So be specific. I want to read my Bible more, and I want to read some different leadership books. We'll just call them self-development books. I just got one called The Miracle Morning. And there's another book that I got is sitting right over here that I do not know how to pronounce the name of this book. I've asked a couple different people, and they both given me different pronunciations. I won't even get into it. It's a self-development book, so we'll just leave it there. I want to read my Bible more, and I want to read these 2 different self-development books more. The Miracle Morning is one that just came in the other day, and I'm like, ooh, I want to dip into this. I will also give a shout out to a future podcast that's going to come out. I do a podcast episode. Sorry, a shameful plug here, but his name is John. Excuse me. His Instagram is John Kidwell, and he has a website called leadwell.com by John Kidwell. I've never been more captivated by somebody in leadership, and you're gonna have to get into that episode when we launch it. It's not gonna be till the next season, but I'm gonna order his book this week, and that's gonna be another book. So Juan, how in the heck are you gonna do this? I want to read my Bible more and these 3 books. So self-development books times 3 is what I'm gonna put on here. This is what I want to do. How can you do it? I'm gonna put myself not in my normal schedule that I have now. To be fair to you as a listener, you probably have a 9 to 5. Excuse me, I'm smacking my lips over here. You probably have a 9 to 5. You probably have a family, and your schedule is hectic. So I'm gonna put myself as if I was the old one. Because to be fair, I have a lot of time on my hands. Yes, I have a business to run. Yes, I do a podcast. Yes, I have coaching stuff to do, speaking, travel. But there's a lot of times, if I'm being honest, that I don't do a whole lot. I clean up my room every once in a while, do a couple loads of laundry, come in, do some emails, create some content, edit these videos, do a whole bunch of different things. And I can fit in reading whenever I want. However, I used to read a lot so many years ago, and my life was hectic 9 to 5, 3 kids. So I'm going to put myself in that, like the old me, as if that was me today. Because I don't want you to say, well, one, that's really easy of you to do because you have all the time in the freaking world. So, result of a goal. I want to become a better reader. That's who I'm going to become, right? So in the first episode we talked about who do you want to become? I want to become smarter and wiser. Why and how? By reading more. Cool. So who do I want to become? A better reader. Better reader. I'm just kind of just doing a brain dump right now. So let's get specific because that's part of SMART goals. But if in order to read more, that's the result of a goal. What do I need to do? I'm gonna take this out of the which I want to do as well. That's I guess I could probably do that one, do the 75 hard challenge. I've never done it before. I had a bunch of friends that have done it. Uh, but right now is not the time. I will do it. Part of the 75 hard challenge is read 10 pages a day. I can do that. I can do that. So, what do I want to do? What's my goal? Read 10 pages a day. For some of you, it might be I want to read for 10 minutes. 10 pages can take you 10 minutes. 10 pages, depending on the book, can take you 5 minutes. Depends on how good of a reader you are. Here's the other thing I would challenge you with. When you read, don't just read or read. How many times do you? I laugh because I do this a lot. How many of you guys read and you have to read the thing over and over and over again? Like after you read it, you're like, the hell did I just read? Wait, hold on. What? Let me take this back. Other times you read and you just soak it in. And you're like, "Oh, that's good." You write some side notes, you get a highlighter and you highlight it. But there's quite a few times where I'm like, "Huh? Let me read this again." And I read it again, and then I'm like, "What?" And so then I'll read it again, and I'm like, How come this is not making sense?" And then on the third time I'm reading it, I'll start to think, and my mind will just go on this whole tangent of like, "What do I need to do today? Who do I need to pick up? What time is it? Oh, I'm getting kinda hungry." And I'm like, "Wait a minute." It's almost like when you drive. Have you ever done this before? You drive and all of a sudden you make it home or to the grocery store or wherever you're at, and you're like, how in the hell did I get here? I don't remember getting off on this off ramp. I don't remember turning down this street. I don't remember passing. Like, I just showed up, like I'm home. Where did the time go? And you just not doze off. Don't do that. Days off where you just kind of daydream. I do the same thing when I read. So I'll have to read things 3 or 4 times again. So maybe reading 10 pages is gonna take you an hour. Hopefully it doesn't. But maybe that's it. What is it for you? 10 pages, 10 minutes, again, but understand what you're reading. I would recommend, and I'm gonna put on here, read 10 pages a day and take notes. And I would even revisit those notes, okay? Now we have to think about, um, what's the possible, hiccups? We also need to think about the hiccups, what can the obstacles can get away, and then the second thing is where are our opportunities to read and to take notes. So I'm gonna make like a timeline. I'm gonna start at my right and then work my way backwards to the left. So all the way to the right, I'm writing read 10 PGS and I'm gonna write take notes. Okay, so let's work to the left. In order to get there, what do I need? So I need, let's just list the stuff that I need. I need a spot to sit. I need time. So let's just say I need an area. I need a spot to read. Let's work backwards to the left again. I need some time. Time of day. I need, let's say something to drink, not alcohol, something to drink. I got my Dutch Bros tea over here, tea and lemonade. And then I need my notes or paper or notebook. Let's just put notebook. And I need a pen. And then I need my book. Okay. So then we're going to get a little bit more detailed, right? So in my timeline, if I can do this properly, left to right. No, left to right. It's backwards. Okay. For those of you that are on YouTube, from left to right, I think that's right. I have all the way at the end. I'm going to read 10 pages and take notes. I need an area or spot to sit in that's comfortable, quiet, things like that. I need a time of day. I need something to drink, my notebook and my pen and my book. Cool. What book? I'm going to start off first with the Bible. So Bible. Cool. My Bible, my notebook and paper. So I'm going to pull aside my green notebook because that's the one I take notes in. My green notebook. Something to drink. I'll probably just put water or coffee. Time of day. Cool. I have a couple different moments in the time of day. Again, going back to the old me with my old schedule, to be fair. First thing in the morning upon waking up, wake up, do the normal things. Go to the restroom, change, whatever it is. And I like to put on, if I knew this then, what I knew now, I probably would do it then. But the other thing that I need that I like putting on is a YouTube channel called Soaking in His Presence. I got put onto it by a podcast that I listened to with Preston Morrison, and he had a guest. It's called the Leaders Cut podcast. And so it's just soft music. I'll put it that way. It's just soft music that kind of plays in the background. It just makes me think a little bit differently. It makes me just puts me in a really good place. It's kind of like motivational music, hip hop, rock, rap, whatever you listen to at the gym, something with a beat, with a good tempo to go running. This is what it is tempo wise to put me in the mood to read. So put on my music, soaking in his presence. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. And then time of day. Excuse me, I need to sneeze. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so time of day. Going back to the old me. First thing in the morning, a.m., before anyone is up. That's one time. Let me give you a couple different options. At lunch. We all have a lunch break when we go to work. I can read on my lunch break. I can read on my 10-minute breaks. If you work in an 8-hour job, you should have at least 2 10-minute breaks. So those are 2 different areas. So if you're at work. So at lunch, your 2 10-minute breaks. That's 3 different times. Before anyone wakes up, that's another time. So that's time number 4. Let's go to the end of the day. End of the day. Excuse me. My boys are asleep. My wife is watching TV or crocheting. My wife is really good at and don't take this the wrong way. Don't be dumb when you hear this part. My wife is really good at submitting to my needs and wants. So whatever I want to watch on TV, she'll watch. If I want the TV off, she's like, cool. She crochets. If I want to listen to music, she's dancing along with me and we're listening to music. If we want just a quiet evening, we have a quiet meeting, a quiet evening. Excuse me. And I just love that about her, that she's like, "Hey, babe, whatever you want. Cool." If your spouse isn't like that, find a spot. Hey, I'm gonna take 10 minutes and I'm gonna be in my room. I'm gonna be whatever in the hallway, in the bathroom, wherever you're quiet. Is it outside? Find a quiet spot. So, time five is find a spot in the evening when the least amount of distraction. Kids are in bed. I'm gonna go to bed in 10 minutes or in a half hour. I'm gonna, you know what, it's getting late. Read. Turn the TV off. Turn your phone off or plug it in your room or in wherever else away from you so there's no distractions and read in your own spot, which is that next area. Find an area in a spot. Where are you going to read? I in the morning soaking your son soaking in his soaking in his presence is playing on our Google Home device. I go to the kitchen table. I have my coffee or my water and I'll read. Right now, for those of you who have a faith background, I'm in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs are just lessons in the whole first, so far, 7 chapters of Proverbs. He's talking to God's talking about wisdom and listening and honoring your mother and father. I took it a step forward further, and when it says listen to your mother and father, because they give you really good advice, and I'm giving you advice, take it with you, make it be the last thing you hear in the evening, the first thing that you hear in the morning. I take that further in listen to those people who are have more wisdom, that have that just know more, that are maybe older than you, maybe younger than you. But take into consideration things that you've learned, the things that you learned yesterday or whatever. My dad took me to go pick up my car because it just got fixed. It needed new brakes and engine mount, and we talked the whole way over there. And I was just picking up the things that he was throwing. I asked him this question. I said, when you used to pick fruit and work out in the fields, why one have things changed that you see in the fields? How can you recognize different fruit trees? Because I know no difference between a nectarine, plum, and peach tree. I know the difference in the fruit, okay, but the trees look all the same to me. And my kids will ask, Dad, what tree is that? I'm like, I don't know. Let's get out of the car and pick the fruit and see what it is. But my dad can tell by the leaves, by the tree. Anyways, I'm like, Dad, why do they cut the tree this way? Why do they prune this thing this way? How come they paint this or they put foil on the floor? And so he's just giving me all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness. The analogies that I'm getting from this is amazing. Just listen. Just listen. Right? So going back, I read the Bible. And I'm reading that, and I wanted to do a chapter a day, which is not a lot. A chapter is literally I can get done in a minute, maybe 5 minutes. So then I have my other book, The Morning Miracle. So the spot is at the counter. We have a big island in the kitchen. I sit there, lights kind of dim, start the coffee for my wife, and I just sit there and I read before anyone gets up. During lunch, I'll eat and I'll eat and I'll read or at breakfast. Okay. In my breaks, I'll find a spot. Like I have a book in my car in the center console. I have a book. So if I'm at a doctor's appointment, boom, I got my book. I have audiobooks on my phone. But I have all these opportunities to read, and 10 pages or 10 minutes is not hard. 5 minutes before everyone wakes up, 5 minutes after everybody goes to bed, boom, there's your 10 minutes. Pretty darn easy. One, I need to go to the gym. I can give you that example, but I always give that analogy all the time. I don't want to do it. Find your time. Again, a little bit of an example. 30 minutes before everybody wakes up, 30 minutes after everybody comes home or after they go to bed. There's your hour. 30 minutes in the morning before anybody wakes up. And in the evening, take a walk with your son or daughter or your wife. 30 minutes, walk around the block 4 or 5 times. I want to communicate, have better communication with my spouse. Go for a walk in the evening, 30 minutes. Talk, communicate. Whatever your goal is, work backwards, right? So first, just to recap a little bit, Write it down, just brain dump. Boom. Got it down. I want to eat better. Is that the result of a goal or is that the goal? Oh, it's the result of a goal. Okay, so then what's the real goal? In that instance, I need to do better at shopping. Maybe it's again, I'll give you another we'll do that. Okay. I want to eat better. That's the result of a goal. I need to prepare better meals. Okay. So if I need to prepare better meals, then that means I need to have a better shopping list, a good shopping list. I'm pretty sure if you Google or Pinterest recipes, healthy recipes that are high in protein, low in fat, or low in carbs, you can find a grip ton of stuff. So then we work backwards. What do I need? I need meals. In order to get meals, what else do we need? I need a shopping list. Okay. In order to get a shopping list, what do you need? Maybe I get that from Pinterest or Google. Go on Google and search that. What do I need to do? Find time to do that. Then we work forwards to backwards. Did I miss anything? So find time. Okay. Today at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I'm going to get on the computer and Google this stuff and find the recipes. Make a list of everything. Then I'm gonna go shopping, and then you have this to-do list. So in my list, going back to the whole reading, I have get my Bible and my, Miracle Morning. I'm gonna have a book on my desk and the Bible on the counter because that's where I read, right? I have my drink ready here, my coffee over there, the time of day in the morning, and then on my lunch break, so here at my desk. Or in the evening. I'm either here or I'm eating dinner over there, and I can read out loud. You are the king and queen of your castle. Let me repeat that again. You are the king and queen of your castle. If you want the TV off in your house, dang it, turn it off. If you want silence in your house, dang it, get silence in your house. If you want to read and you have kids around, hey, sit down, but I want 10 minutes of quiet. Just listen to what I'm reading because it's pretty interesting. Get it done. Hey, I want to work out. I still need to talk to you about the teacher calling home. We're going for a walk. We're going to talk about it. I need exercise. You need exercise. Let's go. Stand up for yourself. I'll say it again. Stand up for yourself. It's the difference in what you want now versus what you want most. If you really want to become a better reader, better husband, wife, eat better, whatever it is, it's the difference in what you want now versus what you want most. Do you really want that? Let's go get it. Okay. So we talked in the last episode, make a decision. This is what I want to do. Result of a goal or not, or is it the goal? Work your way backwards, work your way forwards, and see if you miss anything. Now, here's the next part. What are my obstacles, right? This is the reason, another reason why. So, the first reason, if I can go back to the beginning, that you didn't meet your goal is one, you had a result of a goal and not a real goal, and you didn't do this process of working your way backwards and working your way forwards. We're going to work our way backwards and forwards again, but this time with the lens and the filter of what are my possible downfall? What are my possible bumps in the road? I'm really tired and I do not want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Normally, I wake up at between 6 and 6:30. Let's just say 6:30. Sorry, let me go back. Let's just say 6 o'clock. I don't want to wake up at 6 o'clock. I'm going to sleep all the way that I can, all the way to 6:30. So now your time in the morning is shot. You still have breakfast. You can read during breakfast, even if it's just a page. And even if it's 2 or 3 minutes, cool. Check it off your box. What's the other issue that could happen? I'm running late because I didn't wake up at six like I'm supposed to. I went all the way to 6:30 and now I'm running late. And I just got to shovel food in my mouth or I'm not eating. I get in the car, take off. Here is your next piece. A little lazy. But here's your next thing. I can have the audio book and listen to it on my drive. There's a moment where I can do that. Cool. And now I'm not getting 10 minutes. I'm getting 20 or 30 minutes depending on your drive. You still have your lunch break and your 10-minute breaks. Issue, uphill battle, Obstacle number 3 or 4. I have a meeting, I had a late lunch, or instead of having an hour lunch, I only had 30 minutes. Cool. Read 30 minutes. And your 30 minutes break, 10 of that is for reading and eat. Take your breaks. There's a lot of times where people do a working lunch and they work at their computer and they continue to work as they shovel food down their throat. I didn't have time. You're going to need to take a break. One of your 10-minute breaks, 5 of them read. If you can read 5 minutes on your 10-minute break, for each break, there's your 10 minutes. Next obstacle. I couldn't take my break. It was one of those freaking days, and I just continued to work. Got no lunch. I had a granola bar at my desk, drank a ton of water, went to the restroom, came back. That's all. My stomach and belly are full of water. Couldn't read. Cool. On your way home. If you couldn't get 10 minutes of reading, you got 20 minutes of audio book there and 20 minutes of audio book on the way back. Now you have 40 minutes. Cool. If it's one of those days, then cool. Make it just one of those days and then get right back at it days 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because we're going to do this every day because we need momentum. We'll talk about that in a second. End of the day, I'm just tired. I just want to sit down and not do anything. Reading doesn't take a whole lot of energy. I don't want to cook. I'm not going to make dinner. I'm picking up burgers or pizza. We're eating as a family, and that's it. Listen, if you're that tired and that have that long of a day, talk to your spouse, talk to your kids. Hey, I just need 30 minutes to myself. Pick up a book, read for 2 or 3 minutes, decompress, lay down. Right before you get up, read 2 or 3 minutes more or 2 or 3 different pages, and you're halfway there. Right? There's just got to be something like cut the excuses, but this is what we're going to do. So let's say it's the gym. Same thing. I don't want to wake up at 6 and I had to be out of my house by 7. And because I didn't wake up at 6, now I didn't have my workout in. I get this. If I don't go to the gym first thing in the morning, it won't happen in the evening. I'm just one of those people. I won't. I've gone to the gym mid-afternoon, sucks. Gone to the gym at the end of the day, sucks. One, I don't want to. I want to do other stuff at home with my family. And the gym is freaking packed. And people there talk more than they lift. And it bugs me. Can't do it. But can it be a steady state cardio day where all we do is walk? Maybe that's it. Maybe at your desk, you're standing up and you're squatting, whatever it is. Can we get a workout in? 10 minutes of walking during a 10-minute break. Walking during your lunch. Again, there are pockets of time to get through all of your goals. Now, every goal is different. Everybody's day is different. I get that. But we need to find our opportunities and where they are. So, but the other thing is we need to find our obstacles because let's be real. Stuff is going to happen and you're going to have one of those days. If you keep it to one of those days every couple of weeks, that's okay. But we need to keep momentum. I try to think of it as this way. Ever see those movies or cartoons where there's like a devil and an angel on their shoulder? I always think that the devil is out there saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Just sit down. Don't do it. Yeah, go here. Don't do that. And I literally out loud have to say, I almost feel like I have Tourette's. And no offense to those people who have Tourette's. But all of a sudden, I'll just yell out, no. My wife or my kids will be like, huh? What? Were you talking to me? I'm like, no. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. And literally, I'm like telling myself, no, you're not going to do this. You're going to do this instead. Get up and go. Let's go. Sometimes I have to audibly say that stuff. But what are your obstacles? Where are your opportunities? What are your obstacles? And then come up with a solution. Again, I don't want to wake up in the morning. Cool. I can do it at lunch. I can do it in the evening. Whichever way you go, you have to be honest with yourself. And this is why people fall off because I'm not going to do it today. And then you're like, well, I didn't do it yesterday. Let me do it today. Because you don't have a plan. In the military, right? We have a saying called piss poor planning leads to piss poor performance. The other saying, the regular saying is, what is it? Fail to plan, then plan to fail. We have to have a plan. And this is why people fall off because they don't take their stuff, one, seriously. Two, they don't put their heart in it. I think I talked about it in either the last episode or in one of these. I talked about when you write it down, when you write it out, you figure it out. But when you just think about it, you only involve your mind. When you write it, you use your hand, your eyes, and your mind. When you write it out and you say it, you use your mouth, your ears, your mind, and your hands. But when you put your heart behind it, I have to go walking for my heart health. I need to read because I want to get smarter and better. And I want to be able to be the one in the room that has maybe not the most knowledge, but I want to be knowledgeable so I can have conversations with the people that I need to have conversations with. I read because I want more knowledge. One, two, I want to be able to lead people better, my wife, my kids, and that knowledge of the books that I read. I want to have a better morning, hence Miracle Morning. I want to have more wisdom, hence the Proverbs of the Bible. And when I get on stages and speak, some of that stuff I turn into content. So reading is fueling my leadership. So I have to put my why into it. Read, not just for yourself, but so that you can lead others. All right, let's do it. So when you put your why behind it, it becomes better. So we have to have our goal, not the result of a goal, work our way backwards what we need, work forward to see if we missed anything, and then work backwards in what could possibly go wrong. Excuse me, let me go back. Where are my opportunities to execute my goal? And then where are there going to be those sneaky obstacles that get in my way? Now come up with a plan on how to counteract that. One of these things back here on my wall is my intelligence. Um, wow. What intelligence? You lost your thought process. Yes, this has happened after COVID. Uh, my diploma from my intelligence school when I was in the military, and in that schooling in Fort Huachuca, Arizona, we had to understand how do we work, the United States military, and then how does our enemy work? And then the intelligence and the counterintelligence is okay. If it's going to get confusing for a second, bear with me. If I know this and they know that I know this, what if I was to switch it up? Have you ever seen that episode of Friends of where they're like, do they know that we know? And Joey's like, they know. And he goes, but they don't know that they know. And so it gets all confusing. But this is the main thing that I'm trying to get to. In the military, we had to know how our enemy thought and how they acted and how they worked. But then we had to put ourselves in their shoes and said, which I will say the thing that I learned through a podcast that I was listening to. And I love this saying: if you were your enemy, how would you take yourself down? If you were your enemy, how would you bring destruction to yourself? I know exactly what I would do to myself. I know exactly how to make myself fall. So if I was my enemy, I'd be like, ooh, you don't want Juan to go to the gym and you don't want Juan to read? This is what you do. This is plan A, and this is what we're going to do next, and this is what we're going to do next. And then we're going to put this person here. We're going to give this phone call, this text, this Instagram thing, this Facebook thing. We're going to put this in front of his face. We're going to put this in his ear. We're going to give him these issues and these problems. And so, knowing that, I have to say, no, that's not going to happen. And here's how I'm going to counteract that. I'm going to become better because I know how the enemy is out to get me. So we have to put these things into practice. So what and where are our opportunities, and what and where might be our obstacles, and then what's the plan to counteract those? If you just do those two things alone that I've talked about, you will become and put yourself in a great space. The next part is we don't have an accountability partner. Put it out there on Instagram or on TikTok, whatever social media thing. These are the four things. My buddy DJ does this all the time. Here are my goals. 1/16. Here are my goals. And then at the end of the day, he'll post the things crossed out, and then he didn't get to 2 or 3 of them. There's times where I'll message him, let's go get it. Just did it the other day. Let's go get it. And then he had a little emoji face of like, yeah, let's go get it. Who's your accountability partner? Maybe it's your community. in Instagram. Put it out there. And then if you get 4 things out of 6, cool. I'll do better tomorrow. And it's just little by little get better. I've said this before in keynotes and stuff like that. I'm not asking you to be 100% better. I'm just asking you to be 1% better every day. I tell my kids, I don't care that you're not a straight A student. You're definitely not going to be an F student, and you're not going to be a D student. If a C is the best thing that you can do, cool. But on your GPA and your grades, I'm not asking you to get an A. I'm just saying, let's get a little bit better. Let's turn that 2.5 into a 2.6. And next month, let's get to a 2.7. Let's get to a 3.0. Can we get to a 3.1? Can we get to a 3.2? Just little by little, step by step, page by page, minute by minute. It's not that hard to read for 10 minutes. You have whatever 15 hours to yourself to work or do whatever. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And if you go home and it's crazy, demand it. You are the king and queen of your castle. Demand, I need 10 minutes. Then we go get it. Who's your community? And sometimes your community might be your spouse or your kids and say, hey, come, I need 10 minutes. Come into my room in 15. And your job is to keep everybody quiet for 15 minutes or no interruptions for 15 minutes. Maybe it's a text. Hey, check in on me and let me know and ask if I've done my 10 minutes of reading every day, 6 o'clock. You can do this yourself. We have cell phones. Put an alarm at 4 o'clock. Did you read your 10 minutes? Crap, no, I didn't. Put another alarm. If we can have an alarm in the morning, why can't we have an alarm in the evening? Wake up, 6 o'clock. Oops, snooze button. Wake up, 6:15. Oops, snooze button. Some of y'all have like 5 or 6 alarms. Nope, I'll do it later. All right, fine, I'm up. Do it in the evening. Did you go to the gym yet? No. Did you go shopping for your ingredients that you need for your healthy meals yet? No. How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? 5 or 6 alarms, do it. You have control of your phone. Just take care of it. We need to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know it sounds cliche, but this year needs to be different. Take ownership. And here's the big thing. When we could take ownership and put our heart and mission and vision into the very thing that we need because it's helpful for us and our family, just do it. No excuses. Find the pockets of time, find those opportunities, find the space, find what you need, what, how, when. Is that a goal or a result of a goal? Your accountability partners, your opposition, your solution to the opposition. Like, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Just checking on time. This is what we need to do when it comes to creating and making and being successful when we set goals. Hopefully, those things help you out. Again, goal or result of a goal, work your way backwards and forwards to we need to know our opportunities and the opposition or the obstacles and then have a solution to that. And then 3, what is your accountability or who is your accountability? Is it a person? Is it social media? Is it your alarms? Have accountability. We have to be intentional. I'll leave you with this. There are going to be gaps, and you have to fill those gaps with intention. You have to have intentionality in everything that you do. And if those gaps are not filled with intention, then by default, it will place you in tension. And now you're going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place because it's the same old year, same old you, talk a good game, you fall short, you've gained 5 extra pounds, and those 5 extra pounds have turned into 10 extra pounds. The reading has not gotten you better. And now when it comes to promotion, somebody else got in a little bit higher than you for the job. They got hired or got promoted, and you would have been that much better. But every day adds up. 10 pages a month, 300 pages. That's a book. For a lot of people, that's a book. Let's say you do a book a month. Let's say a book every 2 months. That's 6 books a year. Do you know how much smarter you would be? Everything compounds. You go to the gym. Let's just say 4 times. Let's just be reasonable. 4 times a week. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times a month. And in 10 months, 160 times. But when you don't go, instead of going 160 times in 10 months, you probably gained 16 pounds because you didn't. What do you want? It's a difference between what you want now and what you want most. Hey, if you need accountability, hit me up. I'll be your accountability partner. I would love in the comments on YouTube or on Instagram, whatever it is, send me a message. Hey, this is my goal. I would love to know what your goal is. Mine is reading. I have a lot of them. Mine is reading, being consistent with the podcast, and networking a lot more. I think when I said it last time was the word was travel or movement forward. Finances, networking, business, whatever. Those are them. And I need to be consistent. That's what I was going to talk about last little bit. People want motivation. I just need motivation. As long as I get motivation, but here's the key to everything. Motivation is last. Motivation is not first. Decisions lead to directions. I want to do something. Next is action. You have to act. You got to move. So action is next. Action will then give you momentum. And once you have momentum, then you get motivation. I want abs. My decisions lead to directions. Eat better. Go grocery shopping the right way. Go to the gym. Walk. Crunches. Things like that, right? I start to do that. That's my action. I start to move, right? I create movement. I feel better now that I'm eating this, and it's been 4 or 5 days, and I'm not as tired throughout the day. And I'm drinking my water, and I just feel good. I'm glowing a little bit more. I have movement. I have a little bit of momentum. Oh my gosh, it's been 3 weeks. I look good. I feel good. And then the motivation when somebody says, "Have you been working out?" You you seem a little bit wiser. That was a really good answer to the question in our meeting. Oh, what do you kind of credit that to? Oh, I've been reading a lot more and I've learned so much. I've been listening to this podcast. What podcast is it? The Relevant Development Podcast by Juan Alvarado. For me, it's Preston Morrison and the Leader's Cut. And then once you get that, oh dang, you look good, you sound good. You look at yourself in the mirror and you pick up your shirt and you see these, oh my God, are those obliques? Is there a line on the side of my stomach? Right? That's not from a pillow imprint or an imprint from your jeans. Like you start to have an ab line outline, then you get motivation. Dang, I need to keep this thing going. Motivation does not come first. Motivation is last. Action, movement, right? Momentum, and then motivation. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the Relevant Development Podcast. I am your host, Juan Alvarado. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to raise that bar and pull yourself to the next level, but you can't do it unless you raise that bar. Listen, before you go, if you want help in getting yourself to that next level, personal development wise, DM me or comment 2024. That's how I can help you with that. 2, if you are in a leadership position and you are looking to move, get momentum, and get some action into your leadership development, reach out to me with the word leadership. And I'm putting together a cohort about how do we level up our own leadership in your home, in your life, and at work. So if you're looking for leadership coaching in that sense, DM me the word leadership so you can be part of my first cohort in leadership. absolutely free. Cool. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I love spending time with you, the listener. Thank you for allowing me to be in your ear for the last 40 minutes or so. God bless. We love you, and we will see you on the next episode.